Hello and welcome to the Pointless Distractions podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Draper. With me,
Scott Westerman, and
where the fuck is he?
he's not here. Graham is apparently on vacation this week, so it's just me and you.
I think he's camping, but don't worry, he's still going to edit and put this episode together. So
Yes.
it'll be in his qualified hands. Um,
Is he camping in preparation for your big cemetery trip?
yeah, I guess so. So I
Well, I
wanted
was,
to dedicate this episode real quick to someone big in the comic world. Jim Shooter died last week. What do you know about him? I mean, I know you know a ton, but
he was the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics when I first got into comics, and he oversaw Marvel at probably the second golden age it ever had with some of the greatest runs ever. A lot of the creators hated him because he was actually trying to make them do their jobs apparently and turn in stuff online or turn in stuff on time and write decent stuff and not go against character scripts and things like that. But I think he kind of got his due afterwards, where people kind of respected him after the fact. I think John Byrne might still have a hate on for him for some reason, but everybody else seems to have kind of mellowed with him. Yeah, he was editor of Marvel Comics about 10 years, I think.
yeah, it was like late 70s to 87, 88. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
something
sure.
like that. Oversaw all that stuff. A lot of the, Claremont Byrne X-Men, Frank
Walt
Miller
Simonson
Daredevil,
Thor,
Walt Simonson Thor. I guess Byrne on Fantastic Four during that period too. A
Secret
lot of
Wars, which he wrote.
He wrote Secret Wars, yeah, which was just supposed to be a cheesy toy tie-in, and a lot of people still kind of crap on that series, but I loved it. I mean, one of the first Marvel comics I bought when I started collecting was Secret Wars #7, which is the first new Spider-Woman. So that was my introduction to most of the Marvel universe and most of those characters. So I really loved it. I still got a fond spot for it. Went back and read it a few years ago, and I thought it still held up well. It was just a big superhero brawl with some good stuff thrown in. I liked it. I don't know. Of course, it's got Mike Zeck art too, which that always helps. But yeah, he got fired from Marvel eventually and went on and formed Valiant Comics, which then at the time I didn't know he was in charge of it. I started buying some of those, and that became my favorite comic company for about 5 years. Well, first couple years were great, I guess.
5 years, Jesus.
Well, it was the first 2 years were really good. Like really, the first year was excellent. He was ghostwriting almost everything during that period.
You're still sitting on a pile of Turok, right?
No, I only got one of those, I believe. I think I do have every single Valiant comic published, other than like some of the gold issues and silver issues and platinum issues and all that kind of
Exo
stuff.
Man of War.
Oh yeah, the series is great. At least the first year of it was. They eventually forced him out there too for some reason, but he used to write like a Stan Soapbox kind of thing in all the Valiant comics for like the first year too, and he was really enthusiastic. You could tell the guy loved comics, loved the industry. That never died. I mean, once he got fired from Valiant, he went on and formed Defiant, I think it was, and then there was another one after. I can't remember. Another one after that, but he had what was that? Warriors of Plasm was their big one. Dave Lapham kind of made him a big star. Lapham went on and did Stray Bullets, and then he's doing a lot of stuff for Bad Idea, and he's done a lot of stuff for DC, and he's just great. But yeah.
Well, he
Anyway,
started at DC at what, like 13 years old?
Yeah, Jim Shooter started writing he sent in his first script at age 13 to the editor, had no clue that there was just some little kid writing this. Got accepted, started writing Legion of Superheroes, I think it was.
Yep.
And he wrote that for a few years, and they finally figured out, oh yeah, this kid's like super young.
Well, yeah, it was like we need you to come into New York, come to the come to headquarters. He's like, well, I have school. I got to ask my mom. And they're like, how old are you? And he was like 14. But
I guess his dad died.
Yeah,
I think his dad died. He had to find some way to make money.
Yeah, he was like a coal miner in Pennsylvania, and he's like had to take care of the family. He's like, all right, I'll start writing comics. Easy enough.
Turns out, yeah, basically he wanted to mimic what Marvel was doing at the time because he thought DC was kind of crappy and stagnant, it sounded like. So he said, I'm going to pick one of the worst selling books that nobody likes, which is Legion of Superheroes at the time. And he's like, I'm going to write it like a Marvel book. And he sent it in, and the editors loved it and said, okay, cool, you're hired. Next thing you know, he got this 14-year-old kid writing on a monthly basis. It was amazing. Got out of comics, got back into comics, started writing. I guess he was a good artist too. I don't remember seeing much of his art, but I probably never even picked up on that it was him.
Yeah.
Eventually worked his way up, became editor-in-chief after like 5 guys through the 70s were like doing it for a year and quit. So yeah, Marvel was kind of struggling, it sounds like, with, just business wise, and he really like whipped him into shape and got him, which is why a lot of the guys hated him, because nobody likes the boss when they're actually, making you do your job. But yeah, cool guy. Once he got out of Defiant, he did Broadway, I think was the company. I don't think I read any of those.
Shooter expert over here.
And then after that, after that kind of went under. I think he's pretty much just been doing the con circuits for the last few years. And
Well, what's
then
cool about him is when I met him, he doesn't charge for autographs or any of that stuff. He just obviously takes the fee, whatever he gets paid, but you can bring him a stack and he'll sign them.
I also heard that
He was
basically
pretty
he'll.
chill too.
Yeah, I also heard that if, like, from a lot of people I was reading stories after here in the last week or so, they said if he went up to him at a convention, if even if he wasn't busy, if he had nothing to talk about, he'd find something to talk about with you.
Yeah.
Just to make, because he knew he wanted to give you that experience and stuff. I mean, the guy, for better or worse, whatever, love him or hate him, you can't deny it. The guy loved comics and loved the fans.
Well, I have a whole book about the history of Marvel Comics going from the beginning to, I don't know, mid, late 2000s, and half the book is about his era.
Right.
Literally.
That was like I said, it was like a new golden age for Marvel during that period. I mean, even people now, when they complain about comics today, they say, why can't they be like they were in the 80s? Well, because Jim Shooter's not there.
All right, so mad respect to Jim Shooter. Rest in peace.
Yes, absolutely. Rest in peace.
All right, so last week we started the Graham's favorite band music bracket.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that went? Because hearing from you and hearing from Graham, I've heard I was a little rough on him for some of his picks.
Some of it's a little abrasive, yeah. You're just like, oh God, really? Oh, you suck. What a lame-o.
I didn't say any of that.
No deep cuts, just the hits. Come on. Oh, probably. I knew you're going to have the most pedestrian stuff. But yeah, I was a little concerned that he wasn't going to be here today to take the brunt, because now it's just me solo with you, and I'm afraid that I'm going to get it now. So
no, that's not going to fucking happen.
But yeah, listen back to the episode. I thought I was a little rough on him too, but I guess maybe he edited that stuff out, but I don't think I was nearly as bad as you were.
Yeah.
So, go easy on the guy. We're working through it.
No, I guess I'm going to actually apologize to Graham. I'll try to be a little easier on it, but I'm just passionate about music, and I think he knows that. And he says that game wasn't even, that exercise wasn't even really his choice. So.
Right. Yeah, he's of the three of us, he's the one that cares the least about it. He's like, I think he still thinks.
Why do we care so much that he picks a favorite band?
Because it's fun.
I don't know. Yeah.
Because it's weird that you don't have one, or at least be able to name 5. But yeah, if we're up to him, we wouldn't even be doing the whole thing. So I just think it's kind of funny. We're going to make him go through the whole bracket and come up with a definitive answer that means absolutely nothing to him.
Yeah. So probably have to do a favorite movie for him after that.
And he'll probably rock us on that.
No,
I haven't seen that.
I'm not doing that. He's not going to want the abuse.
Well, I'd probably take the most abuse there. Like I said,
you haven't seen My Dinner with Andre before? No. The movie about 2 guys eating dinner together, and that's the entire 2-hour movie?
Sounds exciting. But with any luck, assuming there's no lake accidents, Graham will be back next week. We actually have a special thing coming up next week. Should we reveal that now, or should we wait?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. As a lot of you
said next week, it might be on this episode. We're not sure.
Might be on this episode. Might be tacked onto this. We're not sure. But the 3 of us did get the early Amazon tickets to go see the Superman movie when it comes out. I think the normal release date is supposed to be next Friday, but their Amazon Prime members can go online and buy tickets for a special screening at 7:00 this coming Tuesday.
I know we're very exclusive. We all have Amazon Prime.
Yes, because nobody has Amazon Prime. I mean, it's a very exclusive club out there. So you, Jen, and Graham are going to go together, I assume.
Correct. Tuesday the 8th, 7:00, right? Same for you?
Yep. And I'm taking my 2 kids, so that'll be fun. The only thing we had open close to me was IMAX, so that should be interesting. Might be my kid's first IMAX movie. I hope they can actually make sense of it.
We're seeing it IMAX as well, and
nice.
The thing is, since it's Tuesday, IMAX tickets are half price, so we're seeing that movie like brand new, early IMAX for like $7 a ticket.
Oh yeah, I think ours are like 10, which I was still like, okay, that's cheap. So yeah,
any other time that would be $21 probably.
Wow. So yeah, we're gonna do a review. So once the moratorium on reviews is up or whatever, we'll be able to put that out for you guys. I'm sure it'll have plenty of spoilers, so you've been warned a week ahead of time.
Yeah, like I said, it will be at the end, so we'll give plenty of warning if we do that, or unless we don't do it separately.
Or knowing me with my, reading and viewing comprehension skills, I will have forgotten half the movie by the time we record anyway, and I'll have nothing to contribute. So we'll see.
Movie better be fucking good.
I think it will be.
I have a lot of high hopes. So, 4th of July. What did you do?
4th of July, it was laying kind of low. My wife Heidi and my oldest son Luke were actually at church camp, so it was just me and my oldest kid Parker, who's 10.
Wait, what do you do at church camp?
What don't you do at church camp?
I don't know. I was raised Catholic and I haven't gone to
Oh,
church in 25 years.
well, it's like a regular summer camp. They do, they have pools and they have, volleyball and all kinds of basketball and games and zip lines and all kinds of crazy fun stuff. But of course, then they also have worship every night. From what I understand, it's basically just a lot of fun activities. Swimming, like I said, a lot of swimming because it's freaking hot in July in Ohio, like it is
Walking on
everywhere.
water.
No, no walking on water. That'd be something to see, though. Anyway, I mean that's the basics of it. Got put on the spot here, but that's okay.
So your 4th of July, what did you do?
My Fourth of July. So our friends, we have good friends that actually have a pool party every year. They have a really nice house and a nice pool, so they just have people out and we barbecue and stuff. So we went out there and just basically hung on the pool. Had a good time. Got out of the heat.
I have an in-ground pool like 20 yards away from me, and I still haven't been in this year.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know what the fuck my problem is.
Like I have air conditioning. I
It's
don't
like
go
a
outside.
really nice pool too. It's like I never want to go by myself. Like I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like, Jen, you want to go to the pool?
But think of the ladies. Come on, she's got to protect you from the ladies out there after your bod.
All my neighbors are about 85 years old. I think I'm fine.
Hey, there you go. Who's the young guy? Ooh, he's looking
You know,
hot.
that young man. He's definitely less than 50.
He's still got his hair and all his teeth.
But yeah, I went over to Nick Gula's house of the wannabe.
Really?
Must add that in.
Crossover.
Yeah. No, he invited me over. It was him, Sam, Mama Gula was there, Deborah.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you know her from the cruise and
Yep, love her. She's awesome.
Key West. I don't know. It was low key. It was just us, Sam's son. Jen came later. He was cooking brisket and ribs for like freaking, I don't know, 12 plus hours. Like he got up at like 2 in the morning, and then I got a text at 8 in the morning. He's like, "What time you coming over?" I was like, "Does he want me to come over now?" I'm confused. He's like showing me video of the grill. I'm like, "Am I supposed to go over at 8 in the morning? Like, if I start drinking, I'm gonna like pass out at 2."
Right. Is it grilling or smoking them,
He's smoking them.
All right. That does take a
Oh yeah,
while.
okay. He wasn't grilling for 12 hours. Yeah, that
Right.
did.
I was going to say this would be charcoal.
No, but the food was bomb.
Nice.
So in the middle of the day, it's probably not even 4 o'clock yet. Jen's not there, but his mom's boyfriend's over there. I can't remember his name. Wicked cool dude. Came in on a bike. He shot off like a mortar. Comes over this big freaking mortar. Like I said, middle of the day, shoots it off. We hear the neighbor next door. I guess he's a real dickhead, like rich guy. Like his house
Okay.
is like really nice. I mean, it's a middle class neighborhood. His house is just a little bit nicer next door, and
Right.
it shoots off. I mean, it's like a shotgun blast, and you just say,
Right.
"What the fuck?" And his mom's like, "Oh, we've dealt with him in the past. Like he made Nick go over last year because some of the particles from the fireworks landed in his yard. Like the wind
Oh,
took it. They're not aiming it
right.
at his yard. Just shit happens."
Yeah. Fourth of July, you're shooting
So,
fireworks.
yeah, so
Ashes
he,
come
he
down.
fired that off. Jen gets there. We're just sitting there eating. I'm drinking. We're sitting in lawn chairs. I
Boom.
just look to the left and see a cop like coming in the yard. And I'm like, "Po, and freaking fucking Sam Gula has a tray in her lap and she's rolling a blunt. And she just like puts it down. I mean, it's decriminalized. What are they going to do? They're just going to take it
Okay.
away.
I gotta say, I don't know what the
Yeah.
laws in Massachusetts or wherever,
This is
Vermont
in
or New
New Hampshire.
Hampshire.
It's like 10 minutes away from me.
New Hampshire,
But
that's right. Okay.
no, he just came over and he's like my camera's on right now. I just want to tell you everything you're doing is fine. You can't predict where the wind is going to take a firework. I just got the call and I had to say something to you guys. He's basically saying it was a bullshit call, but he had to come in
Right.
because the guy said particles or whatever went in his yard, and he's like, "You can't control the
Particles.
wind. You're not in trouble. Can I get a name?" And Nick's like Nicholas Gula, and he's like, "All right, guys, have fun," and left. Like the guy was that much of a dick that he called the cops over that and wasted their time on 4th of July. And you could tell the dude was like a rookie cop, and like they sent him to do it.
Yeah. Well, he's working on the 4th of July. Like, damn it.
Yeah, and it was like I think it was like his last, like the end of his shift.
He's like, give me some of those ribs. We'll call it even. I'll just go.
Yeah, I drink a shit ton of Bud Heavies.
When's the last time
Well,
you did that?
oh, I don't know, but Nick was like, I was like, "What do you want me to bring?" I was like, "Food, like anything, chips." He's like, "No, just bring beer." He already had his
Okay.
own beer, so I thought I was bringing beer for everyone. So I just started going through that 18 rack. Plus, I had a 6 pack of Space Dust before that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So 2/3, so probably 12 buds and 6 Space
Six
Dust. And I
IPAs.
wasn't
Okay.
even that shitty. We did fireworks, got dark.
Yeah.
We went home. Came home, listened to our new episode, the Graham, music episode. I was like, yeah, it's not too bad. 1 o'clock hits. I'm like, oh my God, my stomach. The worst headache of all time.
Oh no, it's that Budweiser
Just hits
band.
me. I'm talking about like migraine. I don't get bad headaches, but like instant migraine. We have no Tylenol in the house, no Gatorade. I freaking DoorDash at like 1:30 in the morning, extra strength Tylenol and a Gatorade.
You had nothing in the house,
Of
huh?
course, it's like name brand Tylenol, so it's like soup. It's like $30 order.
Right.
Like get that at 2. Like freaking take that. Half hour in, I'm like, oh my God, I have to make a run to the bathroom. Barely make it to
Bleh.
right into the sink. Fill
Nice.
the sink essentially with barbecue
Oh
and
my
good heavy,
gosh. But that was pretty.
and then jump over to the toilet to deposit the rest. I'm talking about I emptied my stomach 100%.
Yeah.
That when I went the next time, it was clear coming up.
Any dry heaving?
Yeah, but I had to like clear the drain. The whole thing's stuck with brisket and ribs and
Mm.
potato salad. It was awful.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, you got the meat barfs. Yeah,
Headache
that's
finally went
chunky.
away. I was like, I cannot call out tomorrow for being hungover because I'll get too much shit.
Yeah.
It won't be worth it. And I'm only drinking like 1 day a week, so now it's like my tolerance is going down.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how that happens. Getting older plus not drinking as much. When you do drink a lot like that, you're gonna feel it the next day.
If I drank
And
that
the
like
day
that a
after that
month ago,
maybe.
I would have been fine. At least I wouldn't have puked. I might have had a little bit of a headache, but
I mean, you put that much poison in your body, that's bound to happen.
yeah. I didn't smoke weed or anything either, so that would have been bad. I would have had the spins.
The spins.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my 4th of July.
that's nice. Oh, I guess one other thing I should say is that the day before the 4th of July, I actually helped my buddy Jeff move. He just got married yesterday, actually, Saturday, July 5th. So congratulations to Jeff and Aaron Hamilton, the newlyweds. Yay.
Congrats.
That's funny because she had a house, he had a house. They sold both their houses, bought one house together. So yeah, there was a lot of moving. Luckily, I only had to help the one day. I helped him move out of his house, and then my brother-in-law helped him the next couple of days getting out of her house and the remains of his house. So I was ready to get in that pool the next day because I was pretty sore. Like, oof.
This is gonna make me sound like a dickhead, but that's one of my one rules is I'll never volunteer to help anyone move because I've done it so many times over the years, and I never get help when I do it.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
not,
when I moved into this condo with Jen, she drove the U-Haul, and like I meant she's 5 foot tall. Like I had
right.
to carry everything.
Yeah, he
I'm not
definitely said
acting
he's
like I'm a hero. I'm just like, nope, like get a mover, get other friends, but I don't want to do that.
yeah, he's reached the conclusion that if he ever moves again, or well, he probably will move again because he wants to move out in the country somewhere eventually. Yeah, definitely get movers. He's like, I'm not putting you guys through that crap. This is too much.
Peaches.
Yes. Moving to the country. Going eat. Is that the President of the United States of America?
I think so.
It's funny. Oh, yeah. Yikes.
So I
bad
heard
hangover,
you were
huh?
telling me you recently got into some anime.
Yeah, we got a Crunchyroll subscription a while back and we barely use it. If you don't know, that's basically a streaming service that's all anime.
I'm sure anybody that listens to this knows
I'm
that.
sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. But yeah, my 10-year-old again was actually that night once we got it back from the pool, we were going to come home and watch the fireworks here. We were going to stay out at their house and watch fireworks. My brother-in-law and his wife were kind of like, man, let's go back into town and we'll watch fireworks back in Hilliard. Like, okay, cool, let's do that. So we left to. Never quite made it to the fireworks show because my 10-year-old wanted to start watching this show called Solo Leveling. He's been playing a Roblox game based on it, so he wanted to watch the anime, of course. So yeah, we popped that in. We started watching. We about 10 episodes later, like, oh, I guess we missed the fireworks. So, oops. It's
How long are the episodes? Like 20 minutes, probably.
Yeah, they're like 20 minutes. But yeah, we just sat down and started watching them, and we got kind of sucked in. It's a pretty cool show. It's really interesting because the basic premise, I guess I can get into it. The basic premise is, 10 years before the show starts, these gates start opening to another dimension, and like, magic beasts are coming through, and it's basically like a lot of standard like D&D stuff. It's like orcs and goblins, and like the occasional ogres and things like that. So it's kind of funny. So in response, at the same time this is happening, humans here on Earth have been awakening these powers. And so they're all, depending on their power level, they rank from S, which is the highest, down A, B, C, D, E, which is the lowest. And the main character is a guy who's an E rank hunter. And basically they put these teams together. They go into these portals. They wipe it out. There's always a boss in the dungeon. They call them dungeons. And once the boss dies in the dungeon, then the gate closes and they can get out and everything's cool. And then that way they have a certain amount of time before, if they don't close the gate, then these things are going to start being like come into our world and attacking people and stuff. It's basically just an excuse to go in and show lots of people fighting monsters, you know. And it's kind of funny because the parties they put together, it's almost like this person's been playing D&D or something forever, because there's like the brutes up front, the tank guys, the basic fighter types, there's spellcasters, there's healers, there's just all different roles and stuff. There's assassin types and all this. They're more stealthy. So it's kind of based on your standard kind of fantasy role playing party makeup and everything. It's kind of funny. But anyway, this guy, he's an E rank and he barely even registers on when they test him. Like he goes in and he takes a little test and they test his power level and it's like, oh, you're a 10, whatever. And it's like even the lowest E ranks are usually at least on the 70 on this scale, and he's basically worthless. Every mission he goes on, he gets his ass kicked. He's basically more of a drain on the party than he is on, he's more of a hindrance than a help, really, because he's draining their healing resources and stuff because he's always getting his
Sounds
butt
like
kicked.
every anime where they like build up the main character,
Yeah.
like
So
My Hero Academia.
he starts out as a completely worthless schlub. And then they go into this one dungeon, and it turns out they beat the boss, and it's like, well, why isn't the gate closing? And it turns out it's a double dungeon. And so they go down this corridor, they find this new chamber, they get locked in with this like godlike being, basically, and it's got all these different statues and stuff. And anyway, he's got to use his brain. All the people just want to attack everything with brute force, and they're just getting wiped out. So he has to use his brain to figure out all this stuff. Eventually, they get it to there's like 3 rounds they have to go through and all this and blah blah blah. He's the last guy standing because he manages to basically keep everything from attacking everybody long enough for the other people to get out, and then he's there stuck alone. Right as he's about to die, like this screen pops up in front of him, like it's like a pop-up window in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and it basically says, you have been chosen, you have passed the first quest, you can be the player, is what it says. And it's just like, what? It's like, do you accept? It's like, if not, you will die in 0.02 seconds. He's like, okay. So he's like, yeah, sure, okay, I'll try this. Boop. And then it's all of a sudden it's like, congratulations, you are now the player. And he gets like basically gets reset and his body gets healed and everything, and everything blacks out, and he wakes up in a hospital.
Does he get all that experience though from that one battle?
No, he starts out at level 1, so he doesn't get much, but it's funny because it levels up just like a video game. Like there's little pop-up screens that pop up, and he's got like inventory he can access and all this. And when he gains gold in the by fighting monsters and stuff, he can actually buy stuff. And he gets like healing potions and all these, starts getting all these different abilities and things. It's pretty funny. And so he still registers as an E rank, and so everybody just dismisses him. But he starts figuring out that he can level up, by killing monsters and stuff. And he finally starts getting this, and he gets more and more powerful. He keeps getting more new abilities, and he's trying to hide all this because he's so unique that he's like, what is going on here? There's this, the thing running it is called the system. And it's just like, the system says blah, blah, blah. And every now and then he'll see like things like glitching out, like kind of digitizing. Yeah. So it's like he's in a computer simulation or something. So he's trying to figure out what the heck's going on. But one of his main quest really is he just wants to get powerful enough to find a way to heal his mom, who's been in this coma, because there's this thing called like the endless sleep. I can't remember what they call it, disease, because again, like I said, my retention is terrible. But he finds out that one of the items he can get is the elixir of life that can heal anything, basically. And so he's like, I'm going to go on this quest. I'm going to find this elixir of life, put the pieces together, form it, whatever, and heal my mom. And so when he's going through and he keeps these random things like keys to certain dungeons that only he can enter. And it's like, stuff like that. It's like all these special quests. It's just kind of cool. So he keeps leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. And then when he hits level 40, he gets this pop up that says, you may now change careers. And he's like, what? Because one of the things also when he's leveling up is he actually has stats. Like a thing will show his stats, like strength and agility. And
it's like sounds like every Japanese RPG there.
It's funny. It's just like,
or like Dragon Quest. Once you get far enough, you have to pick an occupation. Like your shit resets and you level up as whatever your new job.
Yeah, exactly. But except for he gets to keep all his stats and stuff. So he's just been thinking, fighter. He's putting all his stats into strength, basically. And then he gets to level 40 and it says, okay, we're going to assess your abilities and see what you'd be good at. And it comes up necromancer. He's like, the hell? He's like, I have nothing. He's like, I put nothing in my reason or whatever it was, or intellect, I think it was. And he's like, all right. And he first turns it down because he's like, no, that's not my thing. But then it says, are you sure this is a, one-time special secret skill or secret class or something? Then it's like, all right, I guess I'll do it. So he changes to that. And then he finds out that he can start summoning shadow monsters to help fight for him. So he's already like this kick-ass fighter guy, but now he can like do this mage stuff too. And it gets even better because he finds out once he kills a monster, he can arise that and like basically make that one of his shadow minions. And so as he's fighting tougher and tougher monsters, it's like he fights the monster that thinks it's impossible. There's no way he can beat it. Like his shadow minions and he can barely defeat it. Well, they finally kill it, and now it's part of his army. So he just keeps getting more and more powerful because everything it's me and my whole army could barely beat this guy. Well, now he's in my army, and now we can barely beat this next guy. So, and then we kill him, and now he's in our army. So he just keeps getting super, super powerful. And of course, all the S ranks, which are the highest ranked guys, there's only like 10 of them, or like 10 or 20 of them in the whole world. I think there's like 10 in North America and like 15 in Japan or 15 in Asia or something like that. And so they're all like arrogant because they know they can do anything and blah, blah, blah. And basically, law can't touch them because they're too powerful. So, luckily they're mostly on our side. And then there's this island that's filled with all these ants, basically giant insects that are like superhuman, ridiculous. And they've had like 3 incursions to try to get there. And even with like their S rank guys, they've gotten their asses kicked. And so they're finally going to put together a 4th one with all the S rank people. And they're going to go back and, get revenge. And because these bugs are starting to escape the island and they don't want them attacking the mainland. And so, they all put their team together. The ants make this super soldier guy who slaughters all of them. It's pretty funny. And then he's like, oh crap. So he actually goes in there and then he has to fight with them. But it's
Wait,
pretty
if you
funny.
Die in that? Do you actually die in real life, or?
Yeah. Because nobody else, it's not really a video game. He's the only one that's actually acting as a player in a video game. As far as everybody else knows, it's just like the regular world. And so they're just like in awe of him because like he still says he's an E rank. They reevaluate him and make him an S rank. Like, okay, you're an S rank. But and then it's like all the S ranks are still like, what the hell? Because there's like certain summoner guys, and like, I'm an S rank summoner. I can have 2 shadow guys fight for me. He's got like hundreds of them popping up, and it's just like, oh my gosh. So it's just like the power levels just keep escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating.
So wait, you
It's
watched
just
like
nuts.
2 seasons in a couple days?
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. We binged the hell out of it. It was pretty funny. It's
Is
fun
there
though. It's
are they
like
doing are they doing a season 3?
I don't know. It seems like they should be because the end of season 2 is left pretty wide open. That there's obviously more stuff going on. So yeah, I think it's going to be going on. I don't know. It's fun. It's it's not like a real deep thinker kind of thing, but it's a lot of fun with crazy fights and stuff. And it's just like knowing because it's kind of funny too because he's like, well, if this works like a video game, then I should do this. So it gets kind of meta in a few places. Like, I'm thinking maybe I should raise my intellect to do this. And then if I do that, it's like, if it acts like a video game, then I could probably go buy this and do this and do that. So he's like thinking in terms of video game in certain spots. One of the things that was really funny is the parts to get this elixir of life are in this 100-story tower that's filled with demons and everything. And he has to get to the 100th floor to fight the demon lord.
Yeah, this is like the most cliche RPG
Yeah,
ever.
exactly. The whole thing runs just like a straight like,
which is the stuff I
game.
like. So
he's like, everything's just getting tougher and tougher and tougher. Like even with all this power he's gaining, he's every level's getting tougher. So it's like I need better equipment. Let me think about this. So there's people are always finding these items and dungeons, weapons and armor and all kinds of crap. And he takes just one of the things he bought out of the inventory. He's going to sell this ridiculous cool thing that he's got that like doubles your magic powers or something like that. And he's like, I should be able to get a lot for this. And he takes, he's going to one of the store to kind of see what kind of stuff he can get. And he pulls out this dagger that he bought just with his own gold in his own store in the inventory that nobody else has access to. And the guy's like, oh, this has got to be easily 100 million. And he's like, I bought it for 2.8 out of inventory. He's like, crap, I'm just going to start selling all this stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, I earned this gold and I bought it real cheap. And then he can start sell it for billions on the aftermarket. It's kind of funny. Just stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm kind of glad it got me into it, but he was like, oh, now I'm going to become an anime nerd. I know. Like, damn it. We were looking at One Piece and I'm like, how many episodes are there? It's like, 1,389. It's like, okay, maybe
I haven't watched it in a while, but
soon.
I'm at like 150.
Oh, really?
That's still in the 90s. It hasn't even hit 2000 yet.
Right. Yeah, it's been running a while. I was like, dang. He started watching Dragon Ball today. Like, how many episodes of that are there? Oh, okay. There's a lot of Dragon Ball episodes too. Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
So I don't know. That's
watch so cliche, but My Hero Academia. I guarantee you love that.
I read the first volume of the manga and I was just kind of like, not really doing it for me. So I'm going to give it a second chance because I do still have 2 and 3 to read. And
there's like so much heart in that show and just like even I've teared up watching that.
Aw. Because a lot of people were describing it the last couple of years as like, X-Men done right. So I was like, okay, I like the sound of that. But
about a big hero school and
Yeah.
What is it? Two thirds or 75% of people have the quirk and have like one special ability,
Mm-hmm. And
and
then there's
then
All Might, who's
Deku has
Superman, basically.
nothing.
He's like, I
Yeah,
got nothing. Or is it like, isn't he like even more than 2/3? Is it like 99% or something crazy like
it's
that?
not that high. It's like 75 or
Oh,
something.
okay. But
Like it
yeah,
could be the dumbest quirk. It could be like I snap my fingers and it makes a sparkle, but it's something. He has
yeah,
nothing,
he has nothing.
and
But
then he
yeah.
eats a piece of All Might's hair and then works out. And
A lot of push-ups. Oh, that's another funny thing on the solo leveling. He has his daily missions he has to do, or else he faces a penalty. So he has to do like 100 push-ups, and he has to run 10 kilometers and do 100 sit-ups and all this kind of stuff. And if not, he gets sent to this alternate dimension where there's like giant centipede things chasing him around and stuff. So once he gets high enough level, he just goes to that place and just beats the snot out of all of them. It's funny, but it's like, oh god, I forgot, I got to do my daily activities. I'm like, why is he doing so many push-ups? And plus, as he levels up, he's getting like more muscular and like better looking and all this stuff. And all the girls are like, oh, he looks so different. It's just funny. It's just like a freaking role playing game. It's
I wish
awesome.
I could remember the name, but there's this anime out. I think it's on Netflix. My buddy was telling me about it, but it's like D&D. It's like a dungeon crawler, but everybody in the party is like super like culinary and into recipes and like finding new recipes in the dungeons. And they go in there to kill like the monsters to
So
like
they can eat
cook
them.
them and find recipes and make food. And then it's all like, oh, look what I put together with these 5 ingredients. And they're just in the dungeon like fucking pigging out. Like that's the whole show.
That's kind of funny. Oh, good times.
The culinary dungeon crawler.
That's pretty good.
You know what movie
Oh,
I started the other day, which was horrible?
what's that?
What is it called? Heads of State. Have you heard of that one on Amazon with John Cena
Um.
and Idris
Oh yeah,
Elba?
yeah, yeah. Okay, I haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
I
I
couldn't get
imagine
halfway
that.
through that.
Really, was that bad?
It was pretty bad. Do you know
It
anything
looked
about
good.
it?
No, I remember seeing the ad for it and I thought it looked pretty
Like
good.
John Cena's the president. He's like a former action star.
Ha,
Somehow became president. And then Idris Elba is the prime minister of England. But it's like super vague. It's like, is he Republican? I mean, you're led to believe he's probably Republican, but it's like
yeah, it
super
doesn't matter for a
vague.
movie like that, though.
Yeah, yeah. But like they're in Air Force One, both of them traveling to freaking Poland or something. And this plane comes down and like intercepts Air Force One and shoots all these drones at it. And Air Force One, like the wings open up, it has like Vulcan fucking cannons. Like shooting their but I'm just like picking apart this movie.
That's sweet.
It's so freaking stupid.
Well, sometimes stupid is
Like,
fun, though.
isn't Air Force One flanked by fighter jets at all times?
I think it's supposed to be. I mean, it also has its own countermeasures and stuff. I don't know if it has miniguns on it, but it might.
Yeah.
That's classified
But it's just
information,
like
sir.
shooting out, like 200 drones are shooting out of the back of this, cargo plane where the rear opens up,
Uh
shooting them all out of the sky.
huh. You hear John Cena and Idris Elba. It's like that could be a fun action movie. And then
Well,
I
it
don't know.
worked in Suicide Squad. I think they were
Yeah,
trying to catch that same
yeah.
that magic, but
They must have liked each other there.
it
Like,
was PG.
let's work together again.
It was PG-13, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, that might ruin it.
But they had what's the dude from The Boys? Jack Quaid,
Jack Quaid.
Dennis Quaid's son. What's his name?
Oh, I
Did you
don't
watch The
know.
Boys?
I watched the first season and a half of The Boys and
What's his
never
name?
got to
The
it.
young dude.
I don't know.
But he's like randomly like runs a CIA safe house, and he's in the movie for like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's just so over the top and stupid.
Well, now I
And
want to watch
it's a
it.
type of movie like if you love Fast and the Furious, you're gonna love this stupid fucking movie.
I've only seen the first Fast and Furious. I think I've only seen the first Fast and Furious movie. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones.
I think I made it to Tokyo Drift.
I saw the first one in theaters, and after that, I was like, okay, cool. It's a bunch of guys stealing VCRs and racing cars. Who cares? And
It's like,
then it
why are
just
these
got
guys still
crazy.
stealing shit with their cars? They're like almost 60.
No, they're like jumping from skyscraper to skyscraper, going into space and do all that stuff. It's like, didn't these guys like start out just stealing VCRs and street racing? Like what?
Come on, it was probably at least DVD players.
Oh, it might have been DVD players. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. I have those. I bought them all, and they're on Amazon super cheap. I just need to watch them sometime. I don't know why I bought them. I probably
Why?
should have streamed them, but I think they were still pay to stream. I got so much crap I gotta watch someday. Oh, I did finish season 1 of Luke Cage. Still thought it was good. So I don't know
Isn't he
what part.
allegedly in the new Avengers movie?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. Oh, you mean the one that's coming out?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. They did say Punisher's going to be the new Spider-Man movie though, so that's kind of cool. I think we talked about that briefly. But yeah, I thought the first season of Luke Cage was good, and I started watching the first season of Iron Fist, and so far I'm like 3 episodes in, and it's been really good. It's like I don't know if I like Danny Rand with curly hair, but that's okay. That's a minor nitpick. Minor
When did
nitpick.
those come out? Like 10 plus years ago at this
Oh
point?
yeah, they've been out like I think it was 2006 maybe for Iron Fist. It said on there.
Because I think I had mentioned at one point that my brother Pat had seen those, even though he's never like read a comic, seen an Avengers movie, but like he knows Iron Fist characters
Nice.
because he like mentioned some. And I was like, I don't know what that is. He's like Iron Fist. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that?
I mean, it's kind of funny that there was the big thing about potentially race swapping him to be Asian because oh, he's a kung fu master, he's got to be Asian, blah blah blah. It's like, but
Remember
but
way,
then they
way
but then
back
they
in the day?
but then they race swapped Colleen Wing. I was like, now Colleen Wing's Asian. Like, what the hell? Like, okay, interesting.
I remember way back in the day they said, Ray Park, Darth Maul,
Mm-hmm.
all Snake Eyes,
Yeah.
that that they were like eyeing him
Toad.
for like an Iron Fist movie. Of
Oh, really?
course, that never happened.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
Iron Fist coming out like after 2000 X-Men and like around Tobey Maguire
Oof.
Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, that
Like,
probably
who
would have
the
not
fuck
been
is
good.
that?
He probably would have had the green suit and the slippers, though. Well, maybe
Maybe.
not, because the X-Men said that that spandex is not cool. We must wear leather. And but yeah, anyway, it's been good so far. I don't know. I've heard that the whole Netflix Marvel Defenders saga thing kind of hits a brick wall at some point, but it hasn't yet for me. So 10 years later, I'm finally watching them.
No, the Jessica Jones, she annoys me. Just the actress. I just only remember her from Breaking Bad. I don't know if you watched that.
Nope. So I watched Breaking Bad again. I have it all. I have the on DVD now. That's how
She
long
was
I've
like
had
a
it. I
recovering
watched it.
junkie, and then
Oh, really?
she started shooting heroin again, and then she like died because she was sleeping on her back, and the whole thing she's like, you got to sleep on your side when you're doing heroin because you're gonna puke in your sleep and choke on it. And
Mm.
then Walter White comes in to the room and sees her choking. He could just turn her on her side, and he like watches her die.
It's like, nah, clean that up later.
I'll put that on the list. Breaking Bad.
Oh, it's on the list. It's just a very long list. That's the problem.
Like I have more anime to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to work through the Marvel Netflix stuff for now. And then, I don't know. I still haven't watched the Evil Dead series.
Oh, from Stars, yeah.
Yeah.
I never
So,
got into that either.
so I want to watch that. So, yeah. There's a lot of stuff on my list. We could just do Scott's playlist and you could just slap me for not watching a lot of this stuff.
Oh, 'cause
Oh,
there's stuff I'm agreeing with that I haven't seen. I'm never gonna go back and watch any of that Netflix stuff.
and Graham will be like, you guys haven't seen that? What's wrong with you?
I mean, I welcome
So
it.
pedestrian.
You suck.
You suck. Oh, Instagram. Gonna be good to have him back. Hopefully the Superman movie will be good and we'll have a lot to say about that.
I'm like, so Graham, what did you think of the movie? He's like, nothing much. Like, God damn it.
Had Superman in
I
it.
liked it.
Yeah, that's kind of how my reviews usually go, though. It's like, oh, I liked it. What happened in it? I don't remember. It was cool stuff. Explosions. Somebody got punched in the face, I think.
We
It's
can
like,
come
yeah.
up with our own rating system for it.
Yeah. Did Scott remember anything about the plot? That should be a new game. Make her play that.
I mean, if you're seeing it at 7, let's say it's 2 hours. Hopefully, we're going to be recording by 9:30, depending on how far
Right.
it's from you.
Yeah, it's not far. Maybe a 10, 15-minute drive. So I don't know. We'll see. If you want, I could tell you about my worst hangover story.
All right, let's hear Scott's worst hangover.
I don't know if this is the worst
This isn't
hangover I've ever
puking
had.
on your ex.
No, that was a fake story.
That's
No,
right.
this was actually might have been the first time I got really drunk, like really really drunk. Might have been the first or second time I got drunk. Period. Actually, I was over in Germany in the army, and for some reason we all wanted to go over to the bar and drink. There was an enlisted club right there, like a 2-minute walk from our barracks. It was right there on the base. So I usually didn't drink at all. That was just didn't like alcohol. Period.
Wait, real
But-
quick.
Yeah.
Enlisted clubs. Is the alcohol free?
No, you got to pay for it.
Is it like
But
is it like
it's
a
cheap.
social club? It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap though.
All right.
So we went over there and I was like, what the hell? I'm gonna have a few drinks. Let's see what happens, A couple of these guys knew that I didn't drink, and so they're like, all right, let's mess with Scott apparently. It's like, I don't know, what do I want to drink? Because I didn't like beer or anything in high school at all. I started drinking Hefeweizen a little bit in Germany, so I guess I probably had a few of those beforehand. Not this night, but I hadn't really gotten drunk on them, but I'd had a couple at least. So I had a couple of those. I know I had a couple of Hefeweizens before it started, and then we're sitting in our club. I'm like, what else should I drink? They're like, you should drink scotch. Okay, sure. Let's have some
mix
Johnny
them together.
Walker.
It's fine.
Let's have some Johnny Walker. All right. So, I'm with a couple of guys, that, drink scotch all the time. They were fine. They were just no problem putting them down. Well, so they were just messing me like, yeah, you do it as a shot. So I was,
Wait, how old were you at the time, too?
I was either 19 or I just turned 20. I think I would have been
And
19.
and the other soldiers were like around your age,
Most of them, yeah, but there were some older guys there
drinking
too.
scotch at like 19, 20.
Yeah, well, these are like our couple of our sergeants and stuff. They were, the sophisticated gentlemen.
Yeah, we
So,
went to the academy.
yeah, nah, they're still enlisted. But they, yeah, so they started doing some. I think it was Johnny Walker Red, and then we went to Johnny Walker Black, and we were going back and forth because you got to try them both. So I'm doing them as shots, just shooting back shots of scotch, not realizing how it's going to affect me in about 10 minutes. So anyway, you know what happens after this. So they got to drag me out of the club basically, and I can't walk forward. You ever be so drunk where you can't walk forward, you just keep falling backwards basically, and you got to have like somebody push you.
Yeah, but usually I'm not out when that ever happens. Thank God I've been at the house.
Yeah, it's
Maybe a
been,
handful of times I've ever been like that, like in public.
yeah. Well, like I said, it was only like a 2-minute walk to the barracks, so that was good. So they got me back, put me to bed. I thought everything was going to be fine. Next day, oh, bad news. We knew we shouldn't have gone out the night before because this was the first time we were actually going to be doing a live moving of our nukes, our warheads.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that was our big thing. We've been training for this. Basically, we just have to.
When you sat on it.
No. This is way after that. But so we're hanging out. They drive us down to the storage site for the warheads, and I'm not feeling so good, as you can imagine. I'm barely
Hey,
conscious.
what time do you have to get up?
Like 6 a.m.
There's no way like you could have slept in or
No, oh hell no.
been like, I'm fucking bombed. Like, do whatever you're gonna do to me. They're not gonna
Nope.
court martial you, right?
No, well, probably not for that. I mean, I guess if you show up and you're derelict of your duty, maybe. I don't know. I didn't want to deal with it though, so
Yeah.
I got up.
You soldiered through.
I soldiered through, exactly. They take us out to the storage site. I'm just like sitting there, green in the gills, as bad as you can be, just dying. They actually had there was a little German barracks outside, and that's because we worked hand in hand with the German army on this. Basically, we had the warheads, they had the missiles. So if anything ever happened and we had to launch, they'd bring out the missiles, we'd put the warhead on, and we launched. So that's how it was. But they also provided their own security forces, of course, and we worked hand in hand with them. So we're sitting there in the barracks, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, where's the bathroom? I've got to puke bad. I'm just head's throbbing, stomach's churning. I'm ready to go. I stand up. I make it about halfway through the barracks down the hall. Mind you, there's a bunch of people sitting here. I guess I should go back. There's probably 50, 60 German soldiers, 50, 60 of us all crammed in this one big like bay room kind of thing. And we're just all sitting around all over the place. So I stand up. I'm on the opposite end of the hall, unfortunately, from the bathroom. I stand up. I go running towards the freaking bathroom. Not going to make it. I got to puke bad. There's easily 100 guys in this room. I'm just like, I got nowhere to puke. I'm not going to puke in these guys. I pull out my helmet. I just barf right into my freaking helmet, like in front of everybody. And these guys, the Germans, just start laughing their asses
like,
off.
haha, the Americana.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was more Germans in there at the time. I don't know how many of my own guys saw it.
Like, Schnell Dummkopf.
Yeah. So I'm
what does
like,
that mean, hurry, shithead? Someone told me that. They used to.
Dumbass, basically.
Faster, dumbass.
Yeah. But, yeah, so after I fill up my freaking helmet with nice warm vomit, I got to do the walk of shame the rest of the way to the bathroom. And I'm just like, oh my God, these guys are all just pointing and laughing at me. I go into the bathroom, dump it in the toilet, and then I'm in there for the next 10 minutes trying to just scrub it out and get all the puke smell out and everything. It was gross. And of course, then I didn't get the whole thing out. It still smelled terrible, and I had to wear it the rest of the day as we're going there. I felt a lot better, but I was still, headache from hell.
Good thing World War III didn't break out right then. It's like, where's Scott?
Oh, he's over there in the
Where's
ditch.
Private Westerman?
Those old Private Westerman. Yeah. No, luckily they did not entrust us low-level schlubs with that sort of thing. But yeah, it was bad. I puked in my helmet and had to do the walk of shame through a German barracks full of laughing Germans who were all like, 18, 19 years old, because I think they're all conscripted there. No, volunteer. You gotta actually serve a couple years. So, which is why their military kind of sucks.
Nobody wants to be there.
No, exactly. You get a bunch of that's why I like the American military. It's like it's all volunteer. People actually do that on purpose and want to be there. Other guys are like, fuck this. I don't want to be here.
Like,
what's this?
Was it in Israel that you have to serve too, right?
Yep.
Like 2 years.
Yeah, they're the old puke in the helmet. Not one of my prouder moments. Very memorable though.
And that was your worst hangover ever?
Maybe it's the most memorable one, I should say. It's probably not my worst, but it's my most memorable. Yeah. It was bad. I was pretty rough after that too. I mean, when you have a hangover that bad, it lasts a couple of days.
I feel like my worst hangovers were always when I was like camping or something.
Oh yeah, because you don't
Because you
get to
don't,
sleep
I
well.
mean, there's water there, but yeah, you're not sleeping well. Like you're not really hydrating. You're just,
Don't get to take a good shower.
especially when you get like a 2 day, like if you wake up like drunk and then you continue drinking, then you get the double hangover. That's the one where like your heart's freaking pounding. You think you're gonna die. Like,
Got the sweats and you smell bad. You're just like, oh, got the shakes.
yeah, I had too many of those camping.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a few years. So yikes. I guess I've mellowed out my old age.
I guess so. I was to
So
say
yeah.
I could tell my story about the I was telling you the pissing incident. That was embarrassing at the time. I don't give a fuck now because that was probably 14 years ago. But so Pat used to work at Lowe's back in the day.
Okay.
So he would always party with all the people from Lowe's, and me being his brother, living with him, I knew all of them, so I'd party
Yeah.
with them too. I knew like everybody. We went to our friend Chelsea's house, which is like a half hour from our house. That doesn't matter, but it was like an all day barbecue, just drinking. So we probably got there at 12, drinking all day. I don't even know what I had. I know at one point I had some Manischewitz.
I don't think I've ever actually had that.
That's like that Jewish wine, right? I just
Yeah,
remember
it's
having
like kosher
some of
wine,
that.
right?
I don't know how many beers I had. Easily 30 over the course of the day.
Whew,
At one point,
a
it gets
lot.
later at night. Yeah, it moves into the basement. Everyone's playing beer pong, Beirut, if you're local. And Pat, I blame Pat for this because Pat's like, "All right, we're leaving. Let's go." And I'm like, "No, I'm hammered on the couch. I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay behind." And instead of being like, "Kyle, like there was no Uber back then. There was
Right?
no getting a taxi, and this like no one was gonna bring me home." I was just like, "No, I'm gonna stay for a little while." And instead of him being like, "Fuck, get up, let's go," like
You're
just
driving.
like, "All right, I'm leaving." So I'm sitting there, everyone's playing beer pong, and I remember I had to take a piss. And the last thing I remember that night was getting up, and it's still in my mind. Just when you're so hammered, it's like slow motion. You're walking through, and just everyone's
Uh-huh.
staring at you, but it's like,
Everything's blurry and sounds weird. You're like,
yeah. And I remember going up the steps, the base. I don't know how the fuck I made it up those basement steps, but I'm like two hand, like going
Magic.
up Everest. And I guess I thought I was in the bathroom because I'd been there all day. I probably went to the bathroom 10 other times. But so I guess everyone's downstairs playing beer pong, and they hear like running water on the floor above them. Like, what is that? Like is something
Something cool.
leaking? So they run
Someone's
up.
leaking.
Yeah, they run up. I'm in front of the stove with my dick out, like pissing on the kitchen floor. And luckily it was my friend Chelsea, so she like put me to bed. But they were like, "Kyle, I don't even remember this part. I remember it kind of after the fact." But anyway, they put me to bed on the couch. I wake up the next day and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm like still here." Like luckily I didn't have to work, but I'm like, "Pat, like you got to come get me." He's like, "I'm at work." I had to stay. This is probably 7 in the morning. I had to stay there, I think, till 4 or 5
Till he got off work.
in this
Yeah.
house, and there was like nobody else there except for this chick's like younger, like 16-year-old sister.
Oh.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. But anyway, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this is so stupid. But I didn't remember the pissing thing.
Right.
So Pat
Why does
picks
this
me up
kitchen smell
later.
like piss?
Pat picks me up later, and he starts asking about the night before. I'm like, yeah, I got pretty drunk. He's like, "You know what you did?" And I'm like, I'm like, "Oh my god, what the fuck did I do?" And he's like, "They caught you like pissing on the floor." And Chelsea's dad says you can never come over the house again. Like, and he's like fucking pissed. So thank God the guy didn't come home.
Right. What's this guy still doing here?
Like I probably missed him by like an hour.
Right.
But like Pat's like, "Yeah, you can probably never go back there again." I'm like, "You think I would ever return to that place after that?" But yeah, that was definitely the worst thing I ever did.
Dang.
But the fact I didn't even remember it until he told me, and I was like, and it just like came back like fucking Memento or something. Like just flashed.
Yeah, it's funny. People talk about getting blackout drunk, but I usually remember everything I did eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, eventually I remembered.
But I've never like woken up the next day like, where am I and what happened, and that sort of thing. So I don't know about all that. Anyway, now that we've completely disgusted our listeners, and Graham's probably never going to come back now.
That's what we need. Once again, we need Pat on. He's got like a ton of stories like that.
Oh yeah, we have to have him on.
I'll let him tell it himself, but he's got this story about going to this party, and there was like an alleyway in the backyard behind all the houses, with backyards facing, and then a road and trash cans. And Pat got so fucking blasted that he went in someone else's garage and found a mattress like against the wall, pulled the mattress down and laid on it in like the middle of everything. And they're like, "Pat, you gotta get up. This isn't our garage." It's like, "Yeah, it's okay.
Go away, sleeping."
He used to pull that
Tired.
shit all the time.
Just like find a place to pass out.
Yeah, when when I first moved in with him in my early 20s, we just have like work parties. And we'd just be in the kitchen, everyone talking, and Pat would just fucking lay down in the middle of the kitchen floor and pass out.
It's cool down here. I like it. All right, we definitely got to get him on to hear some more stories then.
I remember a few times me and my buddy like dragging him back to his room, and it was like from the kitchen down a hallway to a carpeted living room, through that to his bedroom.
Nice rug burn
He's
on
like
the
a
way.
big dude like me, so and he'd be like the whole time like, "Oh, shh."
Too loud. I'm trying to sleep.
Every time he was drunk, he'd be like, Jesus. We'd always be talking to Jesus for some reason. It was
Nice.
weird. All right. On that note, keep it pointless.
Keep it pointless. See you next week.